my mum just turned up at my house whilst I was here with Beery. How you going, Beery?
Honestly, never been better, mate. Had such a good morning.
Mum, this is my precious mum. You guys hear me talk about my mum in all of my content. Mum gets a shout out in so many videos. How you doing, Mum?
Yeah, I'm good.
We've just put her on the spot. Beery's going to do an interview. Is that right, Beery?
I would love to do an interview. I
Thanks
truly
very
would.
much. I really appreciate this, boys.
Mum's not that impressed, but we've said, listen, Mum, this is Matt, this is Beery. We need to do this. She said, all right, Dan.
Well, let me start. First and foremost, I walked up the stairs. I thought, oh my god! I actually thought it was your sister, your pot, mate.
Nah.
Beautiful young lady. Let me tell. I can't stop looking into her beautiful blue eyes. But one thing I want to touch on, and this is something that people in addiction or out of addiction will be able to relate to, Maria. Now, I know myself. I've been through rehab. I've been at rock bottom, but I've bounced out of it. And obviously, Danny is now 14 years and 9 months clean and sober. So one thing a lot of you will be able to relate to, or even if you can't in one way or another, it's very interesting because we all know someone that's affected by addiction in one way or another. Now, Maria, the first thing that I want to say to you is obviously he's doing so well now. He's kicking goals. He's full of life. And talk about how proud of him you are at the moment and obviously how far he's come since that person that he was.
I think everybody knows how I feel about how far Danny's come. He just melts my heart, absolutely. Yeah, makes me cry. I look at him and I think, you are now the man that I felt you should have always been.
I love. Yeah. You know what? I'm gonna cut you off there. And look, the emotions are emotions crying. That's from the heart. And you know what? When I cry, it knows I'm just speaking from the heart, and there's no better way to be. And
he does this to me all the time. He makes me cry constantly.
Which is a good thing.
But it's they're happy tears.
And comparing...
Tears of relief, love, joy. Just relief that he's living such a good life now.
I want to interrupt you there because when we say they are happy tears, we compare apples with apples. These are the tears he's making you, obviously you're getting now, but the tears of when he was in addiction. And this might not bring up some raw emotions, but that's absolutely fine because people will be able to relate to this. I know my mum watching this video will be able to relate herself. Now, when someone's... Hello, Mum. My mum's my best friend, so shout out to my beautiful mum as well.
Hello, beautiful.
And my mum will be sitting... my mum will be there nodding her head. Now, Maria, when he was in addiction, I'm going to wind the clock back, obviously, over 14 years and 9 months ago. Now, what type of tears did he bring you then? Because one thing people don't talk about or don't understand is when they're in addiction, they're worrying about themselves. They're not worrying about the effect that they're having on the people around them. Maria, let's dive back into that dark place of your life and how did that affect you and what, you know...
I don't like going back there. It was, obviously as a mother and a human being, it was the worst place in the world to be, to see your child suffering the way he was suffering. It's really indescribable. Like I felt like I needed to do something to help him, but there was nothing I could do. There was nothing, and everything I tried, it had no results.
I can relate. Honestly, Maria, I've got goosebumps talking about this because my mum would always say to me she got nerves of her phone ringing or a knock on the door.
Oh, terrible. Constantly, all the time, even when, you would wake up in the middle of the night or whatever, you just... my first thoughts always went to Dan. Always went to Danny.
While I was in it,
while you were in addiction, where is he? Is he okay? Is he still alive? Is it, what's happening?
I just want to make note I know for other families out there as well. I know people often reach out to me and mums and brothers and sisters asking for help too. I just want to acknowledge, even years into my recovery, Mum. Sorry, Beery, but even years into my recovery, how long did it take you before you wouldn't get a phone call and you panic? Because I know I used to call Mum a lot in the early days, every day. And then if I took a couple of days off, I know that she used to panic. How long did it take you to trust?
Quite a few years. It took a long time. It took a long time.
Because, Danny, the thing is, look, and you can dive back into that dark place, and I know this is not the person that you are, but it is the person that you were in that dark place. Did you find that you were a selfish person back then in the way that was your priority? Explain the feeling to people.
Yeah, I shouldn't laugh, but I was the most selfish person in the world. I didn't know, but see, we are the excuses. Things like, in particular, I remember moments where I would just be denying,
Yeah.
here's one example. This is horrible.
Nah, it's
Mum picked me up from Liverpool police station on bail one day, right? Mum, we've just spoken about this, right?
Okay.
I had a half weight of heroin stashed on me, and I couldn't use it the way I wanted to use it, right? But the minute, so I was taking little bits, snorting little bits just to get through until I knew I was going to get bail, right? Anyway, Mum took me for a quick drive. I said, just stop here for a sec. Within 2 minutes of Mum picking me up, I made her stop at the chemist.
Yeah.
I ducked off out the back. I injected heroin, and I got back in the car, and Mum is just flabbergasted. Do you remember this, Mum, this
Not
day?
that, no.
And I remember Mum thinking, and she said to me, you've used.
But that's the big thing, and looking at that story there, because when you're in addiction, I understand this myself, but you're selfish. You really are. You put yourself first. You really don't care about the effect that you're having on the people around you, because your priority is really not even. It's not the people around you. It's your addiction, not even yourself. And. It really brings a tear to my eye, because, how far even I've come from the person that I was. I've come leaps and bounds, and you'd know yourself, I know you could steal from your loved ones, you could lie to your loved ones, you'd be a scary person. And let me explain obviously, compare him to the person that he was, comparing him to the person he is now. How do you feel about those two different, obviously, apples, comparing them together?
There's no comparison. It's like a watermelon to a grape. You know what I mean? Danny has turned his life around so much. He's made me proud and happy. You know, happy and calm. I feel calm now. There's a lot of love there.
And this will bring up so many emotions to the people that are home that are watching this, because whether you're addiction or you're not, you'll be able to relate to this, because you'll know the bad feeling that you've put your family through. Now, let me ask you, within a short answer, did you think that he was too far gone, obviously, after being in addiction for such a long time?
There was one stage there where, and Dan, I think, knows this, I actually thought to myself, he will be better off not to be here than to be living the life that he's living.
So true.
It was absolute torture to watch him going through what he was going through. He couldn't help himself. He could not stop it.
I can relate to that.
This is what these bloody drugs do to you.
And that's what I want to say, guys. Listen, I'm going to finish on this. To anyone that's out there, regardless of how far into your addiction that you are, you can't help anyone unless they want to help yourself. But to anyone that's in addiction that maybe might be watching this, just try to hit the heartstrings right now and understand, look, you might not care what you're doing to yourself. I didn't care what I was doing to myself. But try to think of your loved ones, people that brought you into this world, and you might have thought he was too far gone, but obviously have a look at him now.
And I absolutely regret ever having thought that way, because Danny has actually taught me a lot, through his recovery. He has taught me so much, you never give up. You're living, while there is a breath inside you. You don't give up. There is hope. There's hope.
So true. So to anyone out there, and then I'm going to pass the final reins over to Danny. For anyone out there, guys, where there's light, there's hope. Don't feel like you're too far gone, regardless of how young or how old you are. And Danny, obviously, what's something that you want to finish on? I can see he's got a tear in his eye.
Gold, Beery. First of all, going back to that selfishness thing, what we just touched on then is, I used to say to Mum, and I used to think to myself, how am I hurting you? This is my life. That is one of the most pathetic, self-centered, selfish things you could ever say. But it's truly what I believe.
So true. So true.
And secondly, I always say that I learn exactly who I am today is absolutely a product of my mum, okay? My values, my morals, the reason I've been able to come good and share my stories the way I do is because I truly believe I've got a lot of my mum's spirit in me. Mum, what I want to ask you is there something you would say to other loved ones out there? Summing all this up. And Mum never gave up. But just to quickly acknowledge again too, she literally did say at one point there that I would be better off not being here, which I completely understand. It's true. Even going into jail, what about when a family member thinks they're better off in jail? Because at least they know where they are.
And when you were in jail, I was actually happy. I actually rested. When
I was stoned in jail most days, by the way.
Well, I didn't know that at the time, but at least I thought I know where he is. he's under supervision, he's being protected.
It's not
and
like
I
that.
understand that now.
I get that families think that, but actually jail isn't. That's
it's not the place to be. Don't anyone.
God, Mum, what would you say to loved ones out there? To families, to anyone else? What can you sum it up? You obviously can't.
Well, no.
What would you say?
That love that you feel for your child is just beyond belief, and you know, just don't ever give up, Joe. Don't ever give up, and always be there for them. Always be there to support them. You don't have to like what they're doing. Absolutely not. I mean, I hated what Danny was doing, but the love I felt for him was always there. You know, as a mother, you can't lose that. No, all I can say is, you know, if Danny can do it, trust me, anybody can do it. All right,
guys, let me just say this. You know, I want to finish on this. For anyone that's struggling, what's the first step that you can do? There's a lot of help out there, whether it be going to rehab or whether it be just reaching out to a friend, whether it be admitting obviously what you've gone through, you know that you've got a problem, reach out to someone like Danny, you know. And one thing I want to say, Danny, is you've obviously got an app at the moment where I've got a friend that swears black and blue that it's helping her on her road to recovery. And I know that there are a lot of people that reach out to you as well. Tell us, you know, wrapping this video up, mate, tell us a little bit about your video and how it can help people.
Little plug for Encapsulator. Thanks, Beery. Yeah, look, throughout my journey, I came to this point in time where I was sitting there one day reflecting and thinking, what was I like when I first entered recovery? I ended up developing a program called Encapsulator. It's a video journal, mobile application where you can record and document your hopes, your dreams, your fears, and your future aspirations. More importantly, I've developed a program called Recovery and Beyond. I've taken all of the foundation of my recovery and I put it into 12 steps. You can use those 12 steps by just simply downloading Encapsulator and starting the Recovery and Beyond program. Guys, there's downloadable resources available. There's hours of video shared by myself, and then also the opportunity to express yourself in a safe place without fear of judgment. It's completely private and confidential. Thanks for the final plug.
Nah, thank you so much. So for any questions or
Mumsy.
any unfinished answers that any of you may have, reach out to Danny or myself, and we really appreciate your time. We hope that this helps you one way or another, and if it has, send this video to someone that you think can help us also. Thank you for your time around.
Oh, thank you very much.
You're a beautiful soul.
You too, darling. Bye.
Good.